Hello everyone, today is January the 10th, 2016. Well, I'd like to talk about this idea of sides. Everybody's on a side. You talk to people about sports. I'm on this side. I want to pull for this team. Well, I'm on this team. I like this team. I'm going to pull for this side. Super Bowl, two sides. Team A, Team B. This idea of sides. I'm on this team, I'm on that side. And you see it in everything. For example, we have the Cola Wars. We have Coke versus Pepsi. And you have people arguing. Oh no, Coke is better. Coke tastes way better. Oh no, I like Pepsi. Pepsi's so much better. And they fight. Which is better, Coke or Pepsi? And then there is the animal people. The animal people. The dog people. The cat people. I'm a dog person. I'm a cat person. Dogs are better. No, cats are better. And you have the animal wars. Dogs versus cats. Then there's the black side versus the white side. Blacks, black people, whites, white people, all of these race wars present all the time in the media. If it's not one race war after another, you can't get away from it on the TV. Then, the left side. All of the liberals against the right side, the conservatives. Liberal, open-minded, free thinkers, right side, conservative, small government, left side, big government. Constantly, the left versus the right, left versus the right. And these wars, these constant sides are going on all the time, in everything, all over the place. You see it in everything. So let's look at this article. It just happens to be from InfoWars. And that doesn't mean that I believe every single thing Alex Jones says. But it's a really great article. It actually came out in 2013. And it's very appropriate for today. So it was written by General Maddox. And I'll read from it. What exactly is the Hegelian dialectic? George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel was a 19th century German philosopher who devised a particular dialectic or method of argument for resolving disagreements. His method of arriving at the truth by the exchange of logical arguments is a system of thought process still used to this day. To put it simply, the basis of Hegelianism dictates that the human mind can't understand anything unless it can be split into two polar opposites. Good versus evil, right versus wrong, left versus right. For example, when two people are talking about two political parties, Labor or Liberal, what they're actually referring to without realizing it is the thesis and the antithesis, based off the Hegelian dialectic. The only real debate that occurs is just the minor differences between those two parties. Nothing is said or done about the issues that neither left or right is discussing. This in particular will become more apparent as the election draws near. And here's a little flowchart. The Hegelian dialectic. You have the agenda, total centralization of power. You have this side over here, the thesis. Let's call it a manufactured terrorist threat. We see that all the time. Then over here, the antithesis, the representative police state, designed to protect us and keep us safe. And the outcome of all of this is the synthesis, the removal of freedoms, the transfer of power from the many to the few. Another form of the Hegelian dialectic is problem-reaction-solution. Most of us unwittingly fall victim to it all too often, and sadly, if we don't stop, we will continue to lose our free will and liberties. It has been widely used by our governments and corporations around the world. You could say that in terms of controlling the masses and society in general, its deployment has been an effective tool in keeping humanity in check. Almost all major events in history employ the Hegelian dialectic of problem, meaning they manufacture a crisis or take advantage of one already in place in order to get the desired reaction of public outcry, whereby the public demands a solution which has been predetermined from the beginning. A classic example is 9/11. Well, we have the official story of 9/11, which is really hard to believe. And then we have conspiracy theory, which, by the way, is a term created by the CIA. And then we have the truth. Only when you break the left-right paradigm and come to the realization that the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan and the whole fake and not to mention contradictory war on terror was the desired outcome for the neoconservatives within the Bush administration and the whole military-industrial complex. They in fact stated in their own white papers the need for another catastrophic and catalyzing event like a new Pearl Harbor. The media is used to play up this problem in order to instigate a reaction or a debate in the public domain on how to tackle it. But the opposition and ruling party offer their solution. Again, we see the only real debate occurring is just the minor differences between those two parties. Nothing is said or done about the many other more important issues that neither left or right is discussing. In order to avoid falling victim to the Hegelian dialectic, from now on you must remember the process involved. Any time a major problem or issue arises in society, think about who will gain or profit from it. Then remove yourself from the equation and take a step back and look at who is reacting, why, and in what way. Then look for who is offering up the solution. When you do this from now on, you'll quickly see the real truth instead of the false truth they want you to see. Great article. Let's look at this word, this definition. Perception management. This is a military term. Actions to convey and or deny selected information and indicators to foreign audiences, well, I would say to domestic audiences too, to influence their emotions, motives, and objective reasoning, as well as to intelligence systems and leaders at all levels to influence official estimates, ultimately resulting in foreign behaviors and official actions favorable to the originator's objectives. In various ways, perception management combines truth projection, operation security, cover and deception, and psychological operations. Let's look at the definition of PSYOPs. PSYOPs is short for psychological operation. Psychological operations are a vital part of the broad range of U.S. military, political, economic, and ideological activities used by the U.S. government to secure national objectives. PSYOP is a dissemination of truthful information to foreign audiences in support of U.S. policy and national objectives. Well, actually, PSYOPs are now legal in the United States. It is absolutely legal for the U.S. government to perform PSYOPs on the American people. The Smith-Mundt Act was repealed and done away with, and now it is absolutely legal for the U.S. government to perform psyops is on the American people. Psychological operations. Now, in college, when I took a philosophy class, one of the projects that we had to do was we had to debate whether or not we were for the topic of euthanasia, meaning a person's right to die, versus the other side of people had a right to live. People should be kept alive. And you had to put together this paper fighting and debating and arguing your side. So colleges for a very, very long time have been teaching college students how to debate only two sides. It's purposeful, it's mind control, it's dumbing these students down. And I fell for it. There's way more than two sides to something. But we're taught to debate, we're taught to argue, we're taught that there's only two sides to things. So, when we look at the term perception management, and you look at any major event that's happening in the country or in the world, you're immediately presented with two sides. You're either for this or you're for that. And I'd like to call that first side the lie behind door number one. So let's call the lie behind door number one the official story. And let's call the lie behind door number two what everybody talks about as conspiracy theory. And let's try to think that there are other doors. Door number 3, door number 4, door number 5, where there is truth. You just have to know where to find it. And these groups that are managing perception, I like to call them collection agencies, because they know that some people are not going to believe the official story. They're going to look at official stories and go, wait a minute, that makes absolutely no sense. And they're put into place right away after an event to start gobbling up and collecting people that don't believe the official story. And they start managing perception. It's mind control. They're managing how we think. They're managing what information is coming out. And it's designed to keep us spinning our wheels and not be able to find the truth. Now, this is such a cute picture. I know you all remember Pooh Bear. And Pooh Bear always loved to eat honey. He loved to eat honey. And this is a honey pot. And out there in the internet world, there are organizations, physical, geographic organizations, and there are internet organizations. And I'm learning that some of these organizations are like honeypots. These little bees are people, and these little bees are looking for the truth. And these honeypots are put in place to attract the bees, attract people to this little snare. And some of these internet organizations are closely monitored to see who's going there looking for information. It's a trick. If these little bees get stuck in the honey, they can't get out. It's a snare. But the honey tastes so good. It's so sweet. And it seems like the truth. But it's really a trick. I love to go to the Urban Dictionary. Their definition of a honeypot. A honeypot is a computer system on the net which is set up to attract and trap people. Honeypots are everywhere. They're designed to trick us. They're designed to help us spin our wheels and not be able to find the truth. You know, I look at that situation going on in Oregon, and I wonder Why aren't the Oath Keepers more involved? They're supposed to be for the Constitution. They're supposed to be standing up. And I'm not saying go out there with guns loaded and start a war. But why aren't they quietly supporting? Why aren't they out there? Why aren't they doing something? They should be doing something. This should be an opportunity for them to be jumping on. I don't know why they're not there. So my question, I guess, is, are the Oath Keepers a honeypot? I hope not. Are they in place to attract people to the group so that they can be watched and they can be stuck in a snare? I don't know. I like the Oath Keepers. I believe in what they're about. But I can't figure out why they're not doing more in this situation in Oregon. I hope you have a great night, everyone. Stay away from the honeypots.